Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I do these little videos throughout the week. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. I'd like to thank my, where am I? Sponsor, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international, so if you are anywhere in the world, you're having a hard time getting to a therapist in your own country, go to BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They will place you with a master's level or PhD level therapist that can do international. And I've gotten really good feedback from people using them. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, so let's dive into this question. So this question was, thank you for the show on Sunday. Can you be more specific about questions that I need to ask my attorney? Okay, so when you are interviewing an attorney, okay, it's just like when you interview a therapist, you've got to ask them all sorts of questions. And first of all, how do you find a good attorney? So honestly, I think one of the best ways to find a good attorney is word of mouth. Word of mouth. Seriously. It's like, find somebody that's been through a high conflict divorce, ask them who they used. Did they like them? Did they feel they had good representation? Do you feel that you got a fair shake? Did you like your attorney? Did they listen to you? One of the main things I hear from people is that bad attorneys don't listen. Okay? Now realize the attorney is not your therapist, so don't expect them to be warm and fuzzy, okay? A good attorney is like a poker player. They're poker face. They're not going to show what's going on. I had lunch the other day with Brent. Oh my God, it was so funny. Because we were talking, he was like, well, you know, do you ever think about what you might have done if you hadn't done psychology? And I said, well, at one point I thought about being an attorney, but I'm afraid my face would give me away. And he just started laughing because he knows how I am. It's like my face is just like, you know, the... what? You know, because I could see myself doing that. So he's like, no. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. So you want a good attorney who's got a good poker face, who is a good listener, but not your therapist, okay? So you want an attorney who's going to hear you, who's going to, you know, work on your behalf and do what's best for you. The best way to find a good attorney, word of mouth. Word of mouth. It really is. Talk to people who've been through it, done it, and that's how you find a good attorney. Now, when you're talking to the attorney and you're trying to figure out whether you're going to go with them or not, do not go for the cheapest attorney. Do not go for the most expensive attorney. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be good. You want to go with an attorney that's got a reasonable fee, okay? Because they're going to have you, you're going to do a retainer fee, and the retainer fees can be anywhere between $2,000 to $10,000. So I would be very cautious of the ones who want the $10,000 retainer fee. I worked with a client, this was years ago, who the attorney that they had hired just kept dragging it out and dragging it out and dragging it out and having lunch with the opposing attorney. And basically the feeling I got was that they were kind of working together to keep it going so that they could put their kids through college, was kind of the feeling I got. A good attorney is going to, no nonsense, get her done, you know, again, off the dockets kind of thing. Do they know the other attorneys? Usually. Yeah, they all know each other. They all go out to lunch. They all go golfing together. They all, you know, whatever. But they don't conspire to keep things going, okay? A good attorney. They do know the judges. And you want an attorney who's well-connected. You want somebody who is active in the community, knows the judges, knows how they think, knows how they, you know, and what I love is that, you know, Brent and I will talk and he'll be like, yeah, I had this one case and it went before this one judge and I knew exactly what the judge was going to do or say or whatever. So I knew exactly how to, you know, ramp the other person up so that the judge would, you know, get fed up with their antics. Do you see where I'm going with that? So, yeah, it's good to have an attorney who knows what they're doing and knows how to ramp up an abuser, because you want that to be exposed, kind of. So, and usually it's just by persisting and asking the truth. Narcissists don't like that. They don't want to tell the truth. They want to tell their story. And when they get caught in a lie, they get very angry. And they usually lash out in rage, and that's kind of what you want. So, anyway, so you want to ask questions, you know, when you're interviewing them. First of all, do you mesh with this attorney? Do you feel comfortable with them? Do they have a good reputation? Did you get a word of mouth? You know, it's like, what what do other people, how have they, what has their experience been of them, kind of thing. So those are the things that you want to think about. You also want to, do you mesh with them? You also want to ask them, it's like, look, I'm dealing with an abuser, okay? How many narcissistic personality disorder, and I'm not going to say that in court, but this is what they are. How many of those have you dealt with? Do you understand how to deal with a high conflict divorce? Now, a lot of them, if they're unethical, will go, oh, yeah, I've done thousands of them. Doubtful. And give examples. It's like, I want to know how you deal with these people. How are you going to protect me when he or she, because remember, narcissists can be females too, starts their antics and wants to smear me in court or take everything or get full custody or whatever. What are you going to do to protect me? How are you going to protect me? So you have a right to ask those questions. So I seriously would interview them the way you would interview a therapist. Where did you get your law degree from? How long have you been practicing family law? You do not want somebody who has not been in the field very long. You need somebody who's seasoned, who has been around the block several times, who understands this type of high conflict custody and high conflict divorce, who's well connected in the community, who understands, knows the judges, knows what their personality is like, knows which ones they want and which ones they don't, that kind of thing. And word of mouth. That is the best way to do it. You can also look up to see if they have any complaints against them on the bar. So there's been several attorneys that, clients have said, oh, I'm going to use so-and-so. And I'm like, you might want to go check them out before you hire them. So yeah, it's worth your time to do the research. So in doing the research, you check out, do they have complaints against them with the bar? Do they have a good reputation in the community? Are they well connected? Do they know what they're talking about? Do they have a good education? How long have they been doing family law? Did they switch, for example, from some other kind of law to family law? Some attorneys do both. Some attorneys do accident law and and family law. You can do that, but you want one that really knows their a-hole from a hole in the ground and really knows how to deal and how to, what's the word I'm looking for? Protect you from an abuser. Now, another question you're going to want to ask them is, okay, let's say that the abuser is really just harassing and continuing to manipulate, continuing to control, continuing to frighten you, sending email after email after email or text after text after text. You want to ask the attorney at some point, listen, I want all communication to go through you. Now, is that going to be more expensive? Yes. Is the abuser going to ramp that up? Probably, in an attempt to bankrupt you. However, if they're crazy enough and they're threatening you, it's not a bad idea to have all communication go through the attorney, because that cuts off the whole BS. The other thing you're going to want to do too, OWL, I forgot to talk about that, Our Family Wizard. Our Family Wizard. So all communication goes into Our Family Wizard. You cannot delete it. So once it's been sent, it's been sent. So they can't say, oh, I never said that. Every single narcissistic abuser on the face of the planet that I've had to deal with in the last 5 years refuses to use Our Family Wizard because they know they're going to be caught in a lie, and they're not going to be able to control and manipulate through the internet or whatever, or the email. So you want to insist on that. You do not want to do just texting or phone calls. So when you decide to divorce, that's when you insist everything is in writing. Everything. So everything needs to be an email or it needs to be a text. And I don't like the idea of texting because those can be erased. So you want to screenshot everything. Do Our Family Wizard. Insist on it. Insist on it in the court decree. Insist on all communication unless it's an emergency. And the definition of an emergency is somebody is dying. Okay, because they'll claim something is an emergency and it's not. So you do not talk to them on the phone. And everything goes through Our Family Wizard so that you have a record of it. And the courts have a record of it so that they can't come back and say, oh, I never said that. I never did that. I never said that. Oh, well, on this date, at this time, this email says, and it's your email. So yeah, you want to do things like that. So that is important to think about. How are you going to do communication? And until you can get things going through Our Family Wizard, you may have to have stuff go through the attorney. And again, they'll abuse it. They'll try to run up the bill, you know. What you need to do is get good at reading the emails and finding that one line that pertains to the kids. Because that's the other thing I've seen abusers do, is that they'll send a Gone with the Wind level of, you know, email or text or whatever, and somewhere buried in all the recriminations is the one line about the kids. And if you don't respond to that email, they will tell the courts, oh, well, you know, I sent them an email, I sent them a text, they didn't respond. And that's on purpose. They're doing that on purpose. So that's why you want to get good at scanning the email, not taking it personally. Listen, they're gonna throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Seriously, that's what they're doing. They're throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. Do not take any of it personally. Find that one little part that's about the kiddo. Respond only to that. Do not respond to any of the other stuff. And honestly, if you can train yourself to do that, you won't need it to go through the attorney. But if you're so raw to the point where you're like, you're taking everything personally and you want to respond, then have it go through the attorney. But it's going to cost money. So just to let you know. Okay, so there is that question. All right, so happy Monday, everybody, by the way. It is freaking hot here. It's crazy go nuts. It's going to be 78, I think, is the high today. What the heck? So there is that. On Wednesday, we'll answer another question that has come in. And remember, no show on Sunday because it's Christmas Eve. But on New Year's Eve, I'm going to talk about strangers are gold, family and friends are dirt. So we're going to talk about why the abuser treats total strangers like gold and treats their own kids like dirt. So I have some personal experience with that, and I will be sharing that. So anyway, all right, you guys, have a great day, and I will talk to you on Wednesday. Bye.